Got a Pikmin-loving someone in your life and you want to make the launch of Pikmin 4 even more special? How about a personal message from Arlo to commemorate the occasion? Hit me up on Cameo for a Pikmin 4 hype video, or a video for any other occasion for that matter. Graduation, birthday, whatever. Use the app or head to cameo.com/arlostuff. Pie. Hello? My wondrous friends, my beautiful friends. It is a great day, and you know what? It will be a great day. Every day, forever. Because we now have all the Pikmin games on Switch available to play, handheld, on the go. Life is just good now. So that's nice. So now that we have Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 on Switch, it is funny how Pikmin 1, they put the number 1 in there. That's interesting. I've never seen a company do that. Like retroactively put the 1. Interesting. So now that we finally have them on Switch, I thought I would do just a casual kind of impressions video of just what I think about the ports / enhanced ports / remaster, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, you know, both games are basically identical in the way that they just function and how they were, you know, ported to the Switch, how they work. It really is just kind of one package. Let's start with the graphics. Pikmin 1 and 2 already look really good. They looked really good on the GameCube. This was, you know, this was an attempt at like realism, you know, photo realism, and even now the games look pretty darn impressive. And the games look really, really good here, up-res, you know, but it's basically just up-resed. Like, they didn't really do anything else. I don't even think they necessarily updated any textures. Maybe they did, but I really just think that it's all just running at a higher resolution. But the game already looks so good. Games that, even just the bump to resolution makes a huge difference. Everything just looks sharper and nicer. You can see more detail in everything, and in the textures, you can just see them a little bit more clearly. It's kind of, yeah, there were some that before I didn't really pick up on exactly what they were, but now I'm like, oh yeah, like that's kind of that. It's like leaves, or it's kind of like it's rust and it's kind of peeling up. I can see it a little more clearly, and it looks great. Unfortunately, I already did have the chance to play the first game in HD because I used the Dolphin version in HD when we were doing the big fat review. So it's a little less impactful for me, but I mean, like, it looks very similar, so I can definitely see it's made a really big difference. Looks really, really, really nice. Would a full remake or like super intense remaster be cool? Yeah, it would be cool, but like, who cares? The game's here, the games are here, and they look really nice. Oh, and you get widescreen, which is really super nice. Dolphin didn't even have that one, at least not, you know, the version I played. Really nice to just have a nice widescreen format. And here's the thing about this though. I believe the Wii version was in widescreen, but I never played the Wii version, so a lot of the features and stuff that are in this one are a little new to me, but they might not actually be new. They might have been in the Wii version, so I don't know. Just keep that in mind. For me, playing the game in widescreen is really, really cool. You just get that much more real estate. It is a little bit unfortunate that the UI elements have kind of been just kind of stretched. They didn't really like... It's like they did remaster the UI elements, which is really nice. It looks really good. But they didn't redo them. It looks like they probably grabbed the old files and then they're like, well, it needs to fit. So they just kind of stretched the whole thing. You know, all the HUD stuff. It's a little squashed looking. It's not super ideal, but it's also, I don't know, not a big deal, I suppose. You know, it's not like the most super intensive, highest budget remaster ever. It really is an enhanced port. But at the same time though, because of how most of this is like fairly basic, I am surprised by what they did to the cutscenes in Pikmin 2. They like, I don't know if they're using AI upscaling or if they really just had the raw files sitting around and rendered out a higher res version or what. But like, they're terrific. They look phenomenal. They look really, really nice. And you know, these are CG pre-rendered cutscenes, and we have these brand new, super sharp, beautiful versions of them. And it's really just amazing. It's just really impressive. Other little details too, like the creature crawl at the end of 1, they like redid it. They redid the whole thing. The text is different. You know, the original had some weird footage of like beta looking stuff, like things where they don't belong, and for whatever reason they redid them here. I like the charm of the original, but like, I don't know, this version looks good too. Looks really nice. As for the games themselves, again, I didn't play the Wii version, so there's lots of like little quality of life things that come up, and you know, I'm very, very familiar with 1 and 2. So anytime there's a little change, like I noticed it, but I didn't necessarily know if it was coming from the Wii version. I know that in the Wii version of 1, you can cycle through Pikmin when you're holding them. In the original, you just couldn't at all. In 2, you can. You hold down the throw button and use left and right on the D-pad to cycle, but you couldn't in 1. They did add it to 1, but you can only like hit R to cycle through. You can't do D-pad left and right. And it's the same in 2, which is a little disappointing, because in 2 you have 5 different types. And I want to cycle left and right, but you can only hit R. I could be missing something, but whatever the case, though, you can cycle in both at all, and that's great, because I'm used to not being able to cycle at all in 1. And, you know, lots of little details, lots of little things. Like in 1, bomb rocks are a lot less dangerous, because if you throw a Pikmin and then call it, it won't drop the bomb rock now, which also makes them harder to control, so it's a little bit of a give and take. But it's pretty cool. Lots of little things in 1 that were just a little bit janky or a little hard to deal with, or just better now, smoothed over. You can move your cursor a lot further now, which makes some tricky throws a lot easier, so that's nice. Lots of little things, just little tiny things, and I'm really, really happy about the controls. In any Pikmin game now, like, you usually have the classic GameCube style controls where you're moving the character and the cursor with the left stick, and the right stick is for swarming, or you have pointer controls from the Wii versions or 3 on the Wii U, where, you know, you're moving with the left stick and you're pointing at the screen or whatever with the right stick. You know, they've been very, very separate. And then like in 3 Deluxe, it's kind of that same thing. You can use more classic controls, or you can kind of untether the cursor so that you're using the gyro on the controller to move the cursor, and the rest is just controlling the character. This right here blends, it marries the 2 styles in a way that I think is really, really cool and really appropriate for the Switch. Now, it's mostly like regular GameCube style controls where you're moving the cursor like that, but you are able to use the gyro to move the cursor only when you are holding the throw button. When you're holding down A to throw a Pikmin, that's when it kind of loosens up, and you can kind of fine tune your aiming, but you're not having to use the gyro to aim all the time. And that was the problem with 3. Like, pointer controls are better. They're just like, they're more precise. You can move in one direction and aim and throw in another. It just allows you to just objectively do more things. But it was also tricky because moving the controller around at all would weird it out. Or like gyro on the Switch, whether I'm using Joy-Cons or on the system or Pro Controller or whatever, they're just off. It just drifts. It can never, you know, there's no IR sensor pointer for it to focus on. It's always just kind of drifting here and there, and that was a problem. And this really helps that, because you're only aiming for a little bit at a time. The rest of the time, you're just using the cursor, the control stick. And I think it's great. It's perfect for Switch. It's so much better for handheld play. It really just marries the 2 concepts. I'm still getting used to it. I still am. Sometimes I'm a little iffy on it because it'll mess me up, but that's probably my fault because I've played these games for so long. Muscle memory is a thing. Muscle memory, it is programmed so deep into my coding that it's hard to learn even very slightly new things. So I do find myself messing up a fair amount, but conceptually, I think it's perfect. I think it's great. I really hope, probably Pikmin 4 is going to be similar. Because, you know, we don't have a stick and a pointer. Like, we're just not doing that. But we want more flexibility. We want some kind of gyro aiming. So it's really great. It's kind of the best of both worlds, and a perfect way to just make the game more. And because that's the funny thing about 3 Deluxe. I was so happy to finally have a portable Pikmin game. I never played it portable because the gyro thing just kind of messed it up. It made it too hard. You know, but now you have this. It's comfortable. It's easy. You can just sit down and play it, whether it's on the TV or handheld. It just feels good, and I'm so happy about it. Now, there are like a few little issues with these games. As far as I've seen, they're a bit more glitchy. Like Pikmin 1 in particular can be kind of janky. You wouldn't even really call it glitchy that often, more just kind of janky. But you know, glitches could happen. 2, a lot more polished, but I feel like in both, maybe one more than 2. I'm still playing through 2, so I haven't played like a ton. But even just what I've like seen on Twitter, we're getting a lot more glitches, like straight up glitches that I do not believe were there before. Like, even just when I played on stream, I've been streaming, go see me on Twitch, I'm streaming all the Pikmin games. This is mid-roll, this is a mid-roll ad. Hey, I'm streaming on Twitch, I've been streaming all the Pikmin games before Pikmin 4 comes out. Hopefully, if we can fit them all in. Go check it out, twitch.tv/arlostuff. Back to it. But like when I was streaming one, sometimes I would see like, sometimes the Pikmin just like won't grab the part. We probably don't have footage that you're seeing here, but just understand the words. They just like won't grab stuff sometimes, and it's weird. And I've seen a couple people post on Twitter where like they throw a Pikmin and it just tumbles and throws forever. Like that was not ever a thing that I have ever seen before. So we're getting some kind of new glitches. I don't know if Nintendo plans on updating these games at all, but like, yeah, there's some weirdness, just a little bit. So far, it is not enough to ruin the game whatsoever. It's rare enough, but it is worth noting. We got some glitches. We got kind of some new glitches here. Overall, though, these are great games. These are already some of my favorite games in the entire world. Pikmin 2 in particular is probably a top 5, at least a top 10, maybe even a top 5 for me. And so having them on Switch is so great, you know, for me to play just so casually. They're right there. I don't have to emulate it. I don't have to play it on the Wii or whatever. So that's great. Mostly just seeing other people, though. The fact that other people have access to these games now and they're playing them, it's so good. It warms my heart. And I'll say again, I probably said this in the video about the announcement, but like the price is a bit steep. You know, Pikmin 1 is pretty short. And both of these games are both priced the same price. So it's a little bit high. So you might be on the fence about that. I'm sure plenty of people are. However, they are infinitely replayable. You know, it's kind of like Metroid Dread, not the longest game in the world, but I've played it like 100 times. I've sunk so many hours into it. These games are like that. You know, the skill ceiling is so high. You know, these games, they are surprisingly complex. There are so many levels of experience and skill to gain from the bottom to the top. Like it's crazy. You can play them infinite times, you know, trying to get faster, just trying to get better, trying to get less deaths, or just because it's fun, just because they're that much fun. So even if the price is a little bit steep, it's the kind of game, these are the kinds of games you can play forever. IMO. So that is what I think about Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2 on Switch. Pikmin on Switch, we got them. We got it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Have you experienced any weird glitches? Is that a thing? Like, is it gonna start coming out more and more? People seeing weird glitches, or is it really just kind of like sometimes not a big deal? It's kind of what it feels like. I don't know. Let me know what you think. I love you so much. Twitch.tv/arlostuff. Just saying. Just saying. No pressure, but we're having a lot of fun. See you later, bye.